And that concludes questions. Order. That concludes questions for oral answer. I have received a letter from Carmel Sepuloni seeking to debate under Standing Order 389 the Independent Expert Panel's interim report on modernising child, youth and family. The release of the report is a particular case of recent occurrence involving ministerial responsibility. The report makes concerning findings about the care of children by child, youth and family and outlines the nature of changes the panel considers are required. The report is an interim one, which outlines the next stage of work for the panel. Furthermore, the operation of child, youth and family was extensively debated in an urgent debate on 27 August following the report of the Children's Commissioner. There will be further opportunities to consider the issues when the final report is presented in December. I am not convinced that the presentation of an interim report warrants the setting aside of the business of the House today. I call on Government Order of the Day number 1.
Interrupted debate on the third reading of the Environmental Reporting Bill.
When this legislation was last debated, the Honourable Ruth Dyson was speaking and has 4 minutes remaining, if she so requires.
I do.
The Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Mr Speaker, thank you very much. Before the debate adjourned for our lunch break, I was putting on the record how disappointing it is that the Minister was not able to change Clause 13 of this legislation, Clause 18 of this legislation, which would have enabled all other parties in this Parliament to support it. Mr Speaker, Mr Brownlee's very upset because he can't hear me, and I'm just wondering, my microphone's not working.
Order. Order. I think the microphone is working, but the sound system is on an emergency system. There is a lot of noise as members are leaving. Would they please do so as quietly as they can, if they don't wish to remain listening to the Honourable Ruth Dyson.
And I'd invite the Honourable Member to come and sit over here so he'd be able to hear me very clearly, because I know that would be the highlight of the end to his week, I'm sure. So as I was saying, Mr Speaker, it's very disappointing that the Minister who's now responsible for this bill, the Honourable Dr Nick Smith, was not able to get his Cabinet colleagues to agree to a change in the one and only fundamental disagreement that other parties have had with that, and that was that we don't agree that ministerial determination of the scope of the reports to be written in this environmental reporting bill is appropriate. We should be able to say without any shadow of doubt that these reports are independent. The topics that have been chosen independently, and we should have confidence in the integrity of the information that we're putting out in these reports. I don't imagine that either the Honourable Amy Adams, in whose name this bill was first when it was introduced, or the Honourable Dr Nick Smith have any intention of misleading the country or international commentators on environmental issues. But we cannot say for sure that that independence is given because they are determining the scope of the reports. That was the concern that numerous submitters had. Senior members of our community who have a lot of experience and expertise in this area said this is not the best quality environmental reporting standard because we don't have political independence. That's what we asked to have changed, and I'm very disappointed that the Minister wasn't able to get his Cabinet colleagues to agree to that change. If he had been able to secure that agreement, then every party in this Parliament would have been able to say, we support this legislation, and what a great message to the rest of the country that would have been. This is a lost opportunity in terms of filling a gap in our legislative regime. This is a gap that needed to be filled, but it's been filled inadequately. Mr Speaker, the other lost opportunity that is also presented in this bill is the fact that in earlier stages, my colleague William Seo suggested that we not only have environmental reporting about decisions made in and affecting New Zealand, but also decisions that are made in New Zealand which affect our brothers and sisters in the Pacific. that would have been a huge gesture of support for us in recognising particularly the impact of climate change on our Pacific fellow islanders. Again, the government said no to that. There was no explanation as to why. I think it's a lost opportunity. It would have been a delight to have supported this legislation, but under the circumstances, perhaps it won't be a permanent situation. There may be an opportunity in the future for it to be amended so that we can support it, but it's with regret that we'll be opposing this bill.
Very good. Call Matt Ducey.
Thank you very much.